Hi. Hi. Never know how to do that. Hi, it's Kate and we are back from our Yorkshire road trip. It's an inset, not insect, inset day today. So I've got Dexter at home. He is with my excuse me, best friend's son playing upstairs. So I thought I'd take 5 minutes out to do a mummy tag thing. I don't know what you call them, that Charlotte from Right Like No One's Watching has set. The questions are aimed more at kind of if you've got toddlers, but I thought it might be quite fun to do it from my point of view, having gone through the whole toddler stage and I'm now at the tween stage. So the first question is, your child is refusing to eat dinner. Do you stand your ground, make them eat it, or do you make something special just for them? For those that know me, I think you might know the answer. I'm certainly, even now, I would never make a separate meal for my children. They eat what they're given. They're thankful for it most of the time. You know, if there are certain things they don't kind of like, as long as they try it, that's my main thing. If they try it and don't like it, that's fine, but they have to try it. That's Kate's law. I certainly wouldn't make anything new for them. I often bring out there are starving children in Africa line, which my children absolutely hate, because it makes them feel so bad, and rightfully so. But it's just to kind of make them understand that, you know, they're lucky. They get 3 meals plus a day. And if I've slaved over a hot microwave, then they should eat it. So, the second question. Your child is having a bit of a meltdown at the shops. You know, the whole kind of tantrum thing. Do you just leave your shopping trip there and decide to come back another time when things are a little calmer, or do you just sort of plough on and just get the shopping done as quickly as you can? Now, you know, Dexter's 10, so we don't have shopping tantrums anymore, you know. In fact, he will get bored with shopping, and if I take him, because invariably I don't, I'll just leave him at home with a friend, or you know, if his brother's home or whatever, then it's much easier just to leave him here and not take him. But if I do take him, he will bring his iPod, and we will often find a bench outside the shop, or even in Sainsbury's they have iPads in the shops, so he'll head for that. I'll go around the clothes bit, we'll meet up, sort of do a bit of shopping and then go. So, you know, there are ways around sort of the getting bored and kicking off thing when they're 10. When my boys were younger, yeah, sure, you know, no doubt they had tantrums when they were sort of 2 or 3, but I would always plough on. You know, I have quite a thick skin for the most part, and I think if I get the looks from other parents, I can quite easily block that out and not worry about it. I've never had a situation where, you know, someone's come and had a word with me for my badly behaved son, which is good because I don't think they'd like the answer, but invariably it's just better just to, you know, either use distraction techniques, that's brilliant, just, you know, perhaps a bit of the French stick you've bought, that always did wonders, just chewing on that, or bring a book or something, or just, you know, the idea was just to get through it as quickly as possible. But, you know, now I have my techniques of how to make grocery shopping less painful. Third question is, your child gets given too many toys for birthday. Do you save them for a rainy day, or do you return them? Right, well again, you know, it's different with Dexter being 10 now because he's at the age where he just isn't interested in toys anymore. He just wants cold hard cash like his mother. That sounds terrible, but you know what I mean. It's at this age, it's kind of gadgetry or money, so that he can buy games for his PS3. Literally all he's interested in. So we're lucky that sort of I've got family that will give him some cash for his birthday, and he's more than happy. We don't sort of have any contact with his father's side, so there's no sort of possibility that he could get spoilt or kind of given too much money, if there is such a thing. You know, he'll get something from my dad, my brother and my best friend, you know, and that's pretty much it. So, you know, he's grateful for whatever he gets, which is good, because that's how I've raised him, to be grateful for anything. When he was younger, if there were sort of duplicates of toys, I would probably speak to the person that gave it and just explain what had happened and asked if they'd mind if I swapped it for something else. But you know what it's like, your house gets overrun with toys, so I think back in the day I'd like, you know, just a certain amount of toys out at a time, and then perhaps trickle the rest throughout the year if he did get lots for a birthday or if he'd had a party. I think it's really important not to let children feel like, you know, not to spoil children, not to give them everything at once. It can be overwhelming, especially when they're little, and they don't really kind of understand when they're little that so-and-so's bought this present and so-and-so's bought that. So it's nice to kind of bring them out one at a time during the year. So that's what I used to do, but now it's completely different, so he just wants money. Okay, your child is protesting sleep. Do you get up at 3 AM with them and put a film on to try and get them back to sleep, or do you sit and soothe and rock them and just ensure they get back to sleep straight away? Well, you know, Dexter loves his sleep. He's a pre-teen, and I can see already his love of sleep, which is great, is just increasing more and more. He doesn't lie in till late, but gone are the sort of 6 o'clock sort of early mornings, and he'll sort of naturally wake up at sort of 7:30. He never wakes up during the night, ever. We had, I say we, it was me, I did it, because he had, the first 6 months of his life were, not his life. The first 6 months, when it came to sleep, were hideous. He was up probably, I would say, 5 or 6 times a night, every night. I think it's probably because he was a particularly hungry baby. But because my ex worked during the day, I was the one that got up every night. It was exhausting, but just weirdly, came 6 months and it stopped. He slept through, and he slept through ever since, and I'm really lucky. So, you know, I think when they're a baby, you know, for me, I kind of, what did I do? When he was a baby, I didn't sort of sleep train him per se. You know, there was an element of controlled crying. I didn't always rush to him, but during the night when he woke up, I think, and also it had been 10 years since I'd had a baby, and kind of I did everything differently, I think. So this time round, you know, I got up with Dexter and soothed him back to sleep. As for the whole putting a film thing on, he was only allowed a television in his room last year. No, this year in fact, when he was 10. And the same with Ben. I just didn't really believe in having TVs or DVD players in their room. Now he's 10, it's very different, and he has his own Chromebook and PS3 and whatnot, and he's very lucky. But growing up, my boys never had kind of that technology. His bedroom was for sleeping, and you know, that was it. I don't even know if I've answered the question. I rambled a bit. Let's just move on. The 5th question is, you have an appointment, you don't have a babysitter, do you take your child with you or do you reschedule? I've been a single parent sort of this time round for 2.5 years, and childcare can be a bit of a nightmare. So there have been occasions when I may have taken him to an interview. Bearing in mind, I think he was 8 at the time, but it was half term and there was just no way around it. And the guy I went to meet, we were meeting in a restaurant, and I just explained the situation. I said, I just can't get childcare tonight. You know, I offered him the opportunity of rescheduling, but thankfully he said, no, just bring him along. I've got children, it's absolutely fine. I gave Dexter the sort of chat before about how to behave, and for the most part during dinner he was great. He let us talk, and you know, we were there for like 2.5 hours. You know, I didn't get the job, mind you, but I don't think that was anything to do with it. And the interview went really well right up until the end when we got up to shake hands. You know, I've taught Dexter to shake hands with people. He shook the guy's hand and said, you really should give my mum the job because she doesn't have any, It was great up until the last minute. He stood up to shake his hand and said, you really should give my mum the job because she doesn't have a criminal record. So that was brilliant. I'm not quite sure where that came from. But for the most part, you know, doctors, dentists and whatnot, he's always come with me. It's important that they see that these places aren't something to be scared of. So consequently, we've never had an issue with him going to the dentist or whatever. So, you know, it depends on the situation. I've taken him along when I've had no choice, and people are quite understanding, you know, when it comes to children these days. I think it was probably a bit different when I was a mum first time round. I would never have taken him to sort of an interview, but then an interview would never have been over dinner back then. So yeah, it's been really interesting kind of parenting 10 years apart, actually, how differently things are done. Anyway, I think I answered the question. Okay, you have 20 minutes before an unexpected guest is due to arrive. Do you tidy up, or do you just think they could just take us as they find us? Well, you know, there is an element of, it's a lived-in house, it has a child in it that's not the tidiest, certainly not a show home, but I would definitely have a run around and just make sure there are no dirty clothes on the floor or dirty dishes lying on the side. But generally the house is fairly tidy. In fact, we don't spend much time in the lounge these days, so if I had guests around, I'd probably just usher them straight in there and just hope they don't go anywhere else. But I wouldn't be, you know, really uptight about it. I kind of just think, well, this is who we are, and invariably if it's friend or family, they don't care anyway. Okay, you're running late and you only have time to do your hair or your makeup. What do you choose? I often go without makeup, actually. I didn't wear any all weekend, and I'm not bothered about people seeing me without makeup. I'm not one of these people that can't leave the front door without mascara on. Having said that, if I had to choose and I was going to a meeting or something, then I probably would choose makeup. My hair, as you can see, it's quite unruly, but you know, if I just kind of pat it down a bit, then it tends to just look alright. I've not done anything with it today, as you can probably tell, but because it's long, you can kind of get away with it. Failing that, just scrape it up into a Croydon facelift, and yeah, you're good to go. So, and I don't know if you can see today, I've literally got the bare minimum on. I've got mascara, blusher and a bit of lipstick. And if I was to wear makeup during the week, this is probably all I'd go for, so it wouldn't take long anyway.
Because, like, you know, I could do when our kids, you know, that...
Having said that, if I'm going out for an evening, I love putting makeup on. You've seen maybe some beauty videos I've done, and I do enjoy experimenting and buying new products, but that's kind of for a special occasion or if I'm going out, day to day I think is very different. Especially when you're busy and you're working and you have children and you're a single parent. Sometimes hair and makeup really get pushed to the bottom of the list, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Okay, the last question is, you're at the park and another child pushes your child over. Do you intervene and correct them, or do you go and find the child's parents? I think I've been in this situation several times during my boys' childhoods. It's a very fine line, isn't it, the whole intervening thing. I certainly would never ever lay a hand on another person's child, but actually if I saw that my child was upset, I would probably come down to their level and not berate them, but just say, you know, that's not very nice, we don't hit each other, or something like that. If, you know, I was in the moment and an adult had to step in, I don't think I'd wait to go and look for the child's parents if I saw that my child was upset or hurt. There are ways of, quote, telling someone else's child off, and I think if it's done delicately and, you know, with, you know, and it comes from a good place, then I don't see anything wrong with it. I would probably feel quite awkward and it would only be a last resort, to be honest, but you know, if my child's upset, then I will intervene and say something. I think if it's got to the point where another child is upsetting your child and the parents haven't intervened already, then I'm not quite sure how well they will listen to you going over and saying, excuse me, but old Johnny, you know, he's just hit my boy, sort it out. I think you kind of take each situation as it comes. You know, now Dexter's older, we don't have those types of situations where, you know, he's been pushed over at the park, but, you know, we still have situations where I feel he's been unfairly treated by other children, and if it's in my power to say something, then I will. It all depends on the situation, really. If I'm there and I see it happening, then, you know, I'm not afraid to say something. I remember writing something about sort of bullying in the playground years ago when Dexter was little and some older children had picked on him. Now, when that happens, then, you know, that's going to really kind of upset me. You know, if teenagers are picking on a 5-year-old, no, I have no compunction at all about sorting them out, shall we say. But those situations are few and far between. So anyway, I think that's all my questions now. If it isn't, I've rambled long enough. I will tag, let me think. I would like to tag my friend Lizzie Locke, Kate Abel Green, and finally Amy Horton. No need to thank me, ladies. Looking forward to watching your videos. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I can hear the boys playing nicely, if not loudly, on FIFA. So I think I'll catch up with some work. Have a great week. Thanks. Bye.